I'm Kate, that's Jamie, and this is Dumby News. So sit back, relax, and join us as we explore the highs and lows of the digital landscape.
Let's see what we can uncover as we search through the endless content online. Come scroll with us.
We have a bit of an update on Mr. Corey Harris. Now, I believe at the end we felt kind of bad for laughing at him. And we're like, no, they messed it up. And we were on his side at the end. But it turns out that Mr. Harris never ever had a driver's license. Like, just never.
Okay,
So
so then explain to me how the charges were driving on a suspended license. How did they suspend a license that didn't exist? Make that make sense.
so I don't know about that. Actually, that's a good point. Now, but he just never had a license. He only ever had a state ID. So I think maybe that's probably the catalyst is like that very first wrong, filing. But that was never actually discussed. Um, so I watched the video. I thought I had it pulled up. Hold on. Okay. At a hearing last week, the Daily Beast reported at the time he informed the court, the judge, that Harris had never had a driver's license, only a state ID, and in fact had had his driving privileges suspended last year. And quite frankly, I just wish he would have said that at the beginning, and all this hoopla could have been put all aside, the judge remarked. Harris had an appointment to take his learner's permit test later that week. Oh my gosh.
Well, I
Okay.
assume they're not going to let him do that now.
Right.
Or, well, I guess he could still get his permit, maybe, but not his license.
With that permit in hand, a copy of which was obtained by People, Harris can take his road test to get fully licensed as soon as July 7th. He is scheduled to go before Simpson once again a month later, at which point his misdemeanor charge would be downgraded to a civil infraction, according to Webster Cox. Okay, so I guess they're just gonna kind of let him off a little bit.
Okay. Well, it seems like there was some
Kind of
mess ups
understanding.
on both sides there.
Maybe, yeah, that's what I'm getting. Is because you immediately brought up a really good point. Wait, how is he getting a suspended license if he never had a license?
Like with the first charge, they take his state ID and input that as a driver's license, and that's maybe where the.
Well, if I remember correctly from what I saw, he told the officer that he just didn't have one on him, or that he didn't have it at all. I could be wrong. I could be remembering it wrong, but that's what I remember from the video because they had
Okay.
whatever the hell they call it.
It's the cop cam.
Yeah, that thing.
Body cam.
Body cam. Wow.
Well, and that's why it's called Dumby News.
Yeah, we don't have all the answers. We just do our best here.
All right. So I'm going to talk about a boat or a ship.
I can't wait.
It's not even really a ship. It's called the RP Flip. Flip stands for Floating Instrument Platform. And this was created by the US Navy. It originally was for to study into submarine warfare, but then they started using it for monitoring waves and storms, all that jazz.
Is this like a
These
newer thing?
All right. So Flip was created in 1962 and its maiden flip was carried out on July 23rd. And it is called Flip because it literally flips from horizontal to vertical right in the water. It is so cool. And they do that because when it flips, it's 355 feet long horizontally. And so when it fills up its back chambers with water, 300 feet of that gets submerged. So it's only got 55 feet sticking out on the top. And it
Oh.
essentially acts like a buoy. And so it just kind of goes with the waves. It doesn't get
Mm-hmm.
like taken out by the waves, which is really cool. And it allows them to
Oh.
study like the effects of one of the big things that they look into is like sound wave technologies.
Mm-hmm.
And because it has no engine, so they have to like drag it out to sea wherever they want it.
Oh, wow.
Because it has no engines, it makes it perfect. The quiet design allows researchers to study sound waves at different depths without interference from ship noise. So that makes sense. Um, but this research includes studying how ocean temperature changes affect the direction and intensity of sound waves. And it's something about them being able to study the effects underneath the water and not immediately on top of the water at the
Mm-hmm.
same time.
Right.
And so
Oh,
they're able to like track storms and study storm waves in the South Pacific. He mostly hung out between like San Diego and Hawaii, but sometimes they would drag him up towards like Alaska and stuff.
huh.
But they can study the wave height and how powerful the internal waves, so like the underwater waves, are. And it helped them to understand how the swells from distant storms travel across the ocean basin, so they can like basically be inside these storms and see what it's doing without
That's
getting flipped over.
crazy. I'd like
And
to
it's
know how
super
we've,
neat. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just like, how have we never heard about this until like just now?
And how did they build this in 1962? We were
Oh,
practically cavemen back then. Like what?
it's that's wild. And is there just the one? And they just tow the one?
Yep, they just have the one. And actually, sad day for Flip. Hold on. Um, he was actually retired in 2023. Rob Sparrick is a program officer at the U.S. Navy's Office of Naval Research, and he said in 2021, according to Sea Power magazine, that it would cost about $8 million to make Flip usable only for another 5 to 10 years, and that
Oh,
funding could be better used elsewhere. And they tried to
yeah.
come up with a lot of creative ideas, but there wasn't enough inertia or funding to keep it going. He had hoped that it would be put on display in a museum given its scientific and engineering significance. However, it was ultimately scrapped in August of 2023. Philip made his final journey toward a dismantling and recycling facility where it was taken to pieces, which just seems so
Oh,
unjust for such a
yeah.
critical,
You
really
can't make that
innovative
into a
piece of
museum.
technology.
Yeah, that could be okay. All over Michigan, or maybe just two spots that I can think of anyway. There's old ships, and they like leave them in the water at port and like make them a museum. You can't make Flip a museum.
Right. Well, not anymore because he got.
You're right. Well, I saw this. I saw this while scrolling, just whatevering. Why did it come up in the news? Because did they just dismantle it?
I don't know.
I just thought
It's
it was
not really a
strange that
hot
you saw it
topic.
too.
It's like a nerdy hot topic. I don't know.
Oh, well, maybe that's why I saw it and I was excited that you saw it too. I was like, yeah, I saw the cool ship. I I did see that cool ship.
Well, the best part of the cool ship is like inside of it. So like inside the bow or the helm or whatever, the part that stays on top of the water. Everything is made so that when it flips, it still has a door. So if it's horizontal, it has like horizontal doors, and then when it goes vertical, it's got vertical doors. Super cool. And the beds are all made so that you can just like they
Oh,
rotate,
wow.
and all these like platforms come down, so you've got three different like decks on the top of it.
I can't
It
believe that
almost
they would just take that apart. That's so cool.
man, right.
Well, oh, and I couldn't imagine how much it would cost to build another one of those now. No way. With
Well, this
inflation?
led me to another an actual ship, and I don't remember the name of it because I just briefly skimmed it. Um, but cruise ships, if cruise ships break down, they got to have a way to like tow them back, and they make these big, gigantic, almost like flat barge like ships. And so they'll pull up to the cruise ship and then they can partially submerge and go
Mm,
under the cruise ship and then come back up and have like the cruise ship on top of it, and then they take it back. But that's crazy. I didn't know that stuff was they were just
no.
out here submerging on purpose,
Heck no.
other than like
No, just,
submarines,
yeah,
but
I was gonna say, just the submarines.
that doesn't always go so well, so
Yeah, not when you're using Logitech controllers and such, but that's crazy. I'm so glad that you looked into that because that was really cool.
well, I'm all for a fun fact in these times of it's like slim pickings on fun news.
I know. It's like as soon as we wanted to start talking about stuff on the regular,
Stuff stop happening.
yeah, I know. It's like I usually feel like the internet's just wilding out, being crazy, but not right now. That is not happening.
No, come on, Florida people, where y'all at? Give us
Seriously.
something weird to talk about.
Now, what I'm going to talk about, I don't know. It interested me. I'm going to do my best to explain it. I just thought it was kind of wild when you think about who owns what and how big the umbrellas really are. We'll just get into it and we can all just talk about it at the end. So, Yada. I don't know if you heard anything about this. It's been going around as like the YouTuber bank, and it's causing a lot of problems.
It's called what?
Yada. YOTTA. Yada. The savings app that turned saving money into a raffle game is now facing a new challenge, being locked out of their accounts thanks to the collapse of their BAAS platform Synapse. So this gets a little complicated. BAAS is or backed as a service. Is a cloud service model in which developers outsource all the behind the scenes aspects of a web or mobile application. So, like, they're just like little helpers that
Okay,
you build on top of, like, if you have a website or whatever. They're helping you hold info.
gotcha.
Now, Yada is an internet based bank, not a brick and mortar bank. Yada boasts about their 2.5% interest rate and encourages depositing large amounts of money for the interest rate and for the many raffle tickets. It's like an incentive. The system of raffle tickets evolved over time, and eventually they were replaced with games. So this has been around, a couple few years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is real money that you're using. This is not
Yeah,
like
it's like
Bitcoin or
yeah.
e-currency, right?
Nope, it's your money. It's a bank in quotes. It's a bank and they're encouraging you to save money. You're putting money in, so you put in. It was like at the beginning, their stuff changed, but at the beginning, every $25 you put in, you got a ticket, and it was like kind of like a lottery that you didn't have to pay. Right, you're always gonna win, right? Because
Right.
you're only getting money and putting money in, which
Sounds
in
too good to be
R
true.
exactly. So, this is, like, going around. They have blackjack, plinko, other, like, games now, right? So now they're doing these games. Now that's a lot different, and it becomes more gambling-esque. Um, so now it's more gambling than a bank than saving. Now Yada claims this is a sweepstakes-based gameplay, not gambling, but, like,
Because
mm
you're always guaranteed like some kind of prize.
Right, but it's like it's kind
Might
of
not
switching
necessarily be a
gears.
great prize.
Right. Now, what kicked off Yada's popularity, and people were asking about it, and there were some influencers talking about it, but Graham Steffens made a YouTube video, and he's a pretty popular financial YouTuber, and people like trust him with his advice. And he makes this video, and like one of the opening lines is, "I bought a bank."
But he's talking about the yada.
Yeah.
Right.
So he invested into Yada. He becomes a partner. And now he's promoting it. Other people are promoting it. They named some people. I've never heard of them. Andre Jakin and Meet Kevin. But between those three people with Graham Steffens, they have millions of followers promoting this again, quote unquote bank. Now, I haven't really gotten into that, why I keep putting bank in quotes.
Well, because it's
Um,
really not sounding much like a bank. It's maybe started out that way and then they found out they're making more money on doing these games and what have
yeah,
you. I don't know. I just don't trust apps like that. I don't know.
no, and really you shouldn't. And it's like, no duh, a finance influencer is shilling out like a scam. Like, I don't know. You can't just be taking financial advice from anybody on the TV. I think the 80s taught us that, but apparently not.
So, are people like losing money to this? Is that what's going on? Like, people are putting their money in here and they're not.
So, yes, they put all their money in. Now, Yada doesn't hold any of the customer funds, which makes it not a bank. Deposits are held with Evolve Bank and Trust. And that's kind of where the problem comes is it's Evolve Bank holds the money. Synapse is the middle person moving the money. And Yada is like the quote unquote like face of the bank, but it's not a bank, right? It's just a face.
Right.
Yada isn't technically a bank, and neither is Synapse. They're fintech companies who work under a bank, Evolve in this case. Fintechs are companies that rely primarily on technology and cloud services, and less so on physical locations to provide financial services to customers. So, Synapse's job is to move the money from the fintech company to the FDIC bank. Now, FDIC is like banks that are backed by the federal government. I don't remember. I think they do up to like $200,000. Like you're guaranteed. Like if a bank goes under, you get your money back. Now
I'm
they
assuming
were
Yada doesn't have that kind of protection.
well, Yada got to claim that they did because technically the money was being held at Evolve Bank. That's how these non-banks are able to have these banking services. If you think about it, like that's so sketchy, but like how many other apps or whatever things that we're using are doing the same thing, you know?
Right.
Yada and Synapse are all intertwined. Yada was a financial technology company. They provide the services. And then in the digital banking stuff, Synap relies on Yada's technology to offer online and mobile banking services to its customers. That's how that works. So Yada's the face, Synapse is the middle guy, and Evolve is the actual bank.
Seems like a lot of change of hands when I could just like
Hmm.
go to the bank and put my money in and it's right there and it, nobody else has hands in it.
Then Synapse revokes all access to its accounts from Evolve Bank, where the money actually is. Synapse says, nope, you can't have it. Synapse characterizes its decision to pause Evolve's access to the dashboard on Saturday, May 11th, as being in an effort to evaluate the situation given Evolve's shocking representation and alternative transition plans for fintechs and depositors to ensure the whatever. Fuck that. Um, when I
It's
first
okay.
read
I was
this,
like
and the
hearing
fifth
it in
time,
German anyway.
listen, it doesn't make any freaking sense, their statement, okay? I mean, go ahead, you can look it up if you want to fucking read it, because I'm not reading it. So let me explain what they're trying to say and try and make it a little easier.
Make it dumb
Thanks.
for me.
Yeah, thanks to a lot of comment sections and Reddit people. So thank you, general public, for dumbing it down for us. So basically, Synapse had been in some financial trouble and had declared bankruptcy. They were supposed to be bought out, and then that didn't happen. And then shit got bad. And that's
And
why.
that's how everyone lost all their money.
Well, and technically that bank still has it, but because Synapse holds all the information and who has what and all that, like
So the
they
bank
can't
doesn't
give it
really
back.
know what goes
No,
where.
no. So 85,000 customers have been locked out of their accounts indefinitely because of the collapse of the BaaS platform Synapse, the middle guy. The problem now is Evolve and Synapse can't agree on who owns what. Evolve claims Synapse's records are wrong and they don't know what they say. In total, in total, there's $150 million frozen. That's crazy.
Wow.
Many users had their entire
Kind
life
of sounds like
savings.
Evolve is trying to. Oh, I mean, in my opinion, it seems like they're kind of trying to take advantage of Synapse collapsing and trying to get down. Like they don't have to pay out all this money.
I hope not. I didn't even think of it like that. I
I
hope
see the
not.
worst in everyone, especially corporate entities.
People had like their entire life savings in there. I feel bad, but like, what all these YouTubers who promoted this, like, we've seen this before so many times and they like really sold it. I mean, I guess, yeah, to its credit, like, it's not Yada's fault, but I don't know.
The thing that people need to remember is all of these influencers that are promoting all of these weird websites for the first time that nobody's ever heard of, they're getting paid for that. They're being sponsored. They're paid essentially to talk it up.
Right.
And that does not necessarily mean that that influencer has been using that app for a long period of time or really knows the nitty gritty behind that app or really what's happening with their own money, let alone what's going to happen with your money.
I was listening to Asmongold TV. I don't know anything about this dude, just to be clear. But I thought what he was saying was interesting, and he was kind of pointing out like the YouTubers who promoted it, like they're not responsible simply because yeah, they're there for the fucking check. But I mean, I guess that's like the other side of the coin. But that Graham Steffens guy, the guy who like bought into it, he's the one who really set it off, all this stuff. And again, he's a financial YouTuber and he's supposed to be someone you can look towards for something like that, for him to advocate so hard when clearly like this wasn't a very sturdy foundation, you know?
Well, and I wonder if he's personally come out and said anything after the fact, or I don't know.
I guess I should have
Did
looked
he
that
lose
up.
any money to this ordeal? Is he a
Let's
victim?
I'm gonna look it up.
Because I just feel like if he didn't lose any money, then he's sus.
I don't think he has, but don't quote me. I'm not seeing anything as of right now, but I know people online are talking about it.
Well, I guess on one hand, if he did lose money, he'd probably be embarrassed to come out and say that after he like hyped it all up and talked all these people into it's a good investment. And if he didn't lose any money, that just looks bad.
Yeah, I mean, the big question here is like, how do they get their money back?
Right. Who do they sue? Do they sue the middleman who went bankrupt? Can you sue somebody that went bankrupt?
Right. And Yada did make a statement. I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm going to read what I thought made sense. Your funds are still held with member FDIC banks with access to FDIC insurance up to $500,000. In order to access higher FDIC coverage, funds are deposited into accounts across the network of member FDIC banks. Although looking through the options of getting your money back seems like a right place, right time situation right now. It depends on how fast you pull your money out and where and when. Like it just the whole there was a mixed bag of people getting money back. Oh, go ahead.
I want to know why Evolve does not have its own records keeping system. Like, my
Yeah, I
company
know. It's
uses third
weird.
party outsourcing,
But I
but
bet
our
they hold
customers
money for
still.
all kinds of other people though. I think that's what it said. I might not have said it. I might have skipped over it. But they do other people too. So they're holding just all kinds of money. They have no idea for all kinds of banks. It's all mixed together. You know?
Because even if you're getting your information from these third party systems, you should have your own system,
You'd
data
think,
system.
yeah. Yeah, because this is
Like, we
messy as
get
hell.
customers' data from like three different third party websites, but they're they all end up in our main system.
Right.
It's not we don't continue to rely on these third party systems to keep transferring us customer information. It doesn't make any sense.
If you think about it, this is how everything is now. Like everything is third party, but you can never actually get to, you know, the cause of the actual problem with anything anymore. With any corporations, everything is so layered.
And the further you get up the chain, everybody's got a finger to point somewhere. And yeah, I
I'm
don't
gonna
know. I'm
ask,
glad that I don't trust anybody and I'm very choosy about where I store my money.
totally. It definitely made me think a lot more about it because I know I use PayPal like a lot because I like the like perks and stuff. But I don't think that's not a bank, probably. That's probably like the same thing, right? I bet. I mean, not that I'm putting a saving. And that's the thing that also Yada, which made Yada different, is that it was advertised as a savings account.
Right.
So, and
Which is
that
almost like
makes
a
it,
bait and switch because that's not really what
yeah,
it was.
no, it ended up changing and yes, evolving. So it seemed like it just seems like it was all bad, a little predatory, unstable, and then got messy quick,
Yeah.
which it's such
I'm
a
interested
bummer.
to see how that unfolds. I wonder if we'll get
I
more
truly hope
news
these
as
people get their
this.
money back. It
Right.
sucks.
They need to do, somebody needs to hold somebody accountable.
100%. I thought it was so interesting. I couldn't stop looking into it.
It is, and I'm interested to see if the influencer dude, I wonder if he's gonna put anything out.
Yeah, I should look
I don't
into
know,
that
at least
too.
maybe an apology to all of his followers that, like, hey, sorry I turned you on to this app that lost all your money.
Right. Especially claiming it's a bank. Why not just be like,
Especially when
actually it's
he's
a
a
fintech?
financial advisor. He should have known better.
Yeah, because that's kind of tricky. It's a little tricky.
I don't
It's
know.
not a
You're
bank.
supposed
It's
to
a
tell your
fintech.
followers to like invest in stocks or something, not these weird new fandangly apps that nobody knows anything about.
Well, that's what everybody's been doing. Like, there's like Dogecoin, and then freaking Logan Paul did Zoo Coin or Coin Zoo. I don't freaking know. Crypto Zoo. I don't know. And he got like sued or something. I don't know. Allegedly, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything. Don't listen to me. I'm a dumb bitch. That's the point. That's all I got, man.
I know. I only had the bit about the boat, the flippy floppy boat. All right, we must be off to score the internet for more content. Ooh, ooh, all my little bracelets came.
Oh, you should talk about those. They're really cute.
Okay, just for a PSA for everybody, if you download the Follow app, it's FAHLO. You can buy these cute little bracelets, and you guys can't see them because you're going to be on audio. Um,
They're really
but
cute.
I got a giraffe, a gorilla, a polar bear, and a shark, and you can track them. Their trackers, the what I read says their trackers track for like up to 2 years. It gives you their little stories. Like my giraffe's name is Amina. She was rescued from poachers. Um, my polar bear, I forgot her name, but she has 3 babies.
No, they're so cute.
Um, and 10% of the profits of each bracelet goes to the organization that tracks that specific animal to help them keep tracking and saving the animals. So do that.
Yay, we love it.
Because we love the animals. And they
Oh.
just released, I seen in my emails, new manatee bracelets. So I'm going to have to get up on that.
I need to. Do they have turtles?
They do have turtles. They have turtles. They have dolphins.
All right, all. It's time to go.
Another Midwestern goodbye.
As we do. See y'all later.
We linger, but you can clip a lot of that out.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
Okay, bye.